It's Ron Reader digs the universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, you're snowed in with Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and yeah, that's just about all I got at the moment, primarily because that's all I can think about at the moment. Being locked down by an uber hard freeze is sort of all-consuming. Indeed, I almost didn't even get to shoot this episode. We had a power outage earlier tonight, and so I was ready just to, well, blow it off for the night. Maybe I'll talk about the cold weather next week or something. Our water is out. Obviously, I got the power back on, but the water's out, and I just took a very cold sponge bath in order to be nice and fresh for this particular episode. Sponge bath with SpongeBob. Yes, nothing like a sponge bath with SpongeBob. So anyway, as Mark Twain once said, everybody talks about the weather, but nobody does anything about it, including me. I'm not going to do anything about the weather. I'm just gonna pathetically talk about the weather. And really, there's a lot to say, like, global warming, climate change, for instance. Do conservatives still do that, yuck, well, I guess that just about does it for global warming, that thing that they do whenever it gets cold? I haven't heard that one in a while. I wonder if they've all decided it doesn't matter anymore. No need to own the libs in quite that way. Not when you're going full fascist, I guess. The really effed up irony about that argument, if you want to call it that, pointing to the sky as a refutation for global warming, is that extreme weather events like this one are, in fact, a major component of the climate change that global warming is causing. The conservative ignorance, willful ignorance, purposeful embrace of an imbecile thought process on this has always been as astounding as it is frustrating. They throw down a drooling inbred idiocy like a gauntlet, and then they cry like babies when people don't take it seriously, the fuckers. But, okay, that's probably too serious for this episode. This is a Fluff episode. Yay, fluffy snow. I'm not doing anything about the weather. I'm just talking about it. But really, though, I kind of would like to know what the fuck the Arctic Circle is doing down here in Harris County and why our deregulated capitalist electrical grid can't keep up with demand. I'd like to know these things, but not tonight. Anyway, did you know that this is one of those times when it is entirely reasonable and appropriate for cold weather states to mock the Lone Star State for going catatonic from the cold? It's totally reasonable. We're completely shut down here in Houston. We don't know how to drive in these conditions. We don't prepare for these conditions, so we just go into a great big bear coma when the ice comes. So, bring it on, Yankees. We suck at this. Have fun. On the other hand, having virtually no experience with this kind of weather has its upside too, I think. Late Sunday night, early Monday morning, I bundled up and went outside for a bit to watch the storm coming in. It was awesome and beautiful and unnerving all at once. There was wind and snow flurries, both from the sky and from the snow being blown off of the roofs that were already covered in snow. Some of the snowflakes were reflecting off of various porch lights, and they were glistening in the light. And as all the snow accumulated on the ground the night became less dark because of the reflected uplight that was, casting weird shadows and shit. And it was motherfucking cold. Colder than I have ever been in my entire life. I feel like it was, sort of an emotional moment, and I feel like I caught a glimpse into how ancient and prehistoric people were, looking at and seeing and feeling their environment, their world change so radically, so rapidly, how they would, lacking science, necessarily come to the conclusion that it was all the handiwork of supernatural entities. No, really, I mean, I can imagine myself hanging with cavemen or hunter-gatherers at the council of elders or whatever, saying, supernatural entities, let's say gods. Who's with me on gods? You? Okay, good, that's excellent. Yeah, yeah, all right, cool, fantastic, I'm glad you're with me. Yeah, good. Gods, you with me on supernatural entities, gods? Hey, what about you? You down with me on gods? Yeah, all right, gods it is then. This weird sense of awe continued with me for a few hours. Some of the ice, finally started to drip as the sun came out yesterday, and it was all like I was in, a Ravel ballet, or that scene in Logan's Run where they ascend from the killer robot's evil ice layer, all drippy and icy and coldly beautiful. Yeah, this whole thing is definitely affecting my thinking somehow. Flashes of Jack London chewing tobacco and freezing to death in Alaska, Kurt Russell at the end of The Thing, Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining, Homer Simpson and Randy Marsh parodying Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining. Freezing to death is pretty iconic, I think. And that's it. That's all my fluffy snow tonight. I'm Ron Reader, and this has been Ron Reader Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reader, again next week for another warmer episode of Ron Reader Digs the Universe.